And this is a real example of a College of Engineering building that hosts a Department of Architecture. This is an example of the size that I expect each one of you to select from your plan. So you can develop a design, partitions and doors and circulation for part of your office tower, or if you want to do the whole floor, and then take part as example for the for what you are doing. This is the architecture. Then we start with this. We develop the architectural drawing, and then we provide the structural plan. So we provide the center lines, dimensions of the columns, and how they are related to the center lines. So this is what we call a structural plan. So it is part of the architectural plan, but on a different layer. So we have center lines, we have columns, and anything concrete should be shown here. Only concrete elements. So this is what we call a structural plan. Then we show the furniture. So in this case, they have drafting tables for students face-to-face. So we have groups of 4. And this is the furniture that is proposed by the architect. So each 4 are sitting together in a group. Here, طبعا, because of the column, they have only 2 students together. So again, the furniture plan is on a separate layer. Don't put everything in the same layer. So we have structural plan on one layer. We have the columns on another layer. We have the walls and architectural details on another layer. Furniture on another layer, so that we can turn on and off the layers, so that we can use the design in a different to produce different drawings. Okay, are you following me? The furniture plan, very simple, very simple, straightforward furniture. Yeah. Then we'll go to
furniture. بس حيكون focused on one part of the plan, or the whole plan we furnish it?
Just one part of the plan, because everything would be a repetition. Just focus on one office.
Okay.
And the rest, you can only provide partitions. Having plans with too many furniture in architecture is meaningless. We are focusing on the architectural element. If you want to repeat it, it's up to you. But architecture-wise, it's not needed yet, because furniture design and interior design is another discipline. Other people will come in and do that. You, as an architect, you should focus on the architectural design. You have enough problems in architectural design. You don't need to add furniture and interior design to that. So focus on the part. I'm giving you an example of the size that is expected. If you want to add a couple of more rooms, if you want to have a complete office, with some other offices and meeting, it's up to you. But focus on one part of the plan. If you do it right, then we know that you can do all the rest right. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, the next part will be what we call reflected ceiling plan. So as you see in the reflected ceiling plan, it shows the different acoustical tiling or the suspended ceiling gypsum boards, what is recessed and what is elevated. So it shows the reflected ceiling plan of the architectural part. This is also another stage. We look up and see the reflected ceiling plan of the area. The second drawing will be tiling. You need to define which areas are covered by what type of tiling, or carpet, or marble, and how will this be designed? Are you going to have all carpet, or vinyl, or ceramics, or marble? So this is what you call tiling plan. So you define what areas will be covered by what kind of material. So here, as you see in the corridor, we have tiles. Here we have vinyl, so that students don't make noise while working, and it's also resisting the dirt or ink or any material that might fall there. And this is the part about tile. The next plan shows the lighting layout. So the lighting layout is as shown here. It has lighting in the ceiling, a linear type of lighting. You can choose any type of lighting that you like. For the offices, you can have spotlights, you can have non-direct light, you can have different kinds of lighting as you want. And this, because this is a studio, an architectural studio, so they want to provide a high level of lighting and homogeneous for all students. And you see there is also lighting here, and each one is connected to its switch. So you as a designer should think about the furniture and the use of the space, and where will you locate the switch so it is easy for the instructor or the students to turn it on and off during the working hours. So this is where we have our lighting layout. Next, we have the HVAC distribution. So, as you know, we have exhaust and we have inlets, so that we have air conditioning coming from the chillers and the air handling units, and it's bringing it to these distributors in different areas, and they provide ducts to the distribution unit points that they want. They have to have appropriate number of outlets and exhaust that goes again to the air handling units. So they provide the space with ducts, and the smallest duct is at the last point, and then it gets larger and larger until it reaches the unit that takes the air to pumps. So here the duct is 700 by 350, and then it goes down to 400 by 350 millimeters, and then it goes down all the way to 200 by 150. Okay, no, 200 by 350. So it's a small duct, 20 by 35 centimeters, that provides air to the last unit. So we bring air and we take the air back to the unit. So it uses the same air and provides new fresh air with it, about maybe 20% fresh air, and uses the air again, so its temperature is already cool. There are ducts in the corridor, as we see here, that provide outlets to the rooms that we have here, and then the air is also returned to the main pump again. So this is a simple distribution of the HVAC. Why do we need to do that? So that all what we do as architects goes back to the reflected ceiling plan. So you have to look at the reflected ceiling and how it will be affected by the different technical systems that are coming here. So where will the lighting be? Where will the air conditioning exhaust and inlets be, and so forth. So this is the lighting distribution. This is the distribution of the HVAC. It will also be reflected in the reflected ceiling. Here is a third or maybe fourth layer of what we are doing, which is fire protection. Every space must be provided by fire alarm system and fire protection system. Fire protection is coming through water pipes, pressure, and connected to sprinkler heads on top. So they are distributed so that in case of fire, they can cover the area beneath them. So these also sprinkler heads will be shown in the reflected ceiling plan. Everything will come to the reflected ceiling plan. So the lighting, the HVAC, the fire protection, we are required to provide diagrams of how the distribution will happen and where do you want to locate the fire the sprinkler heads for the fire. So if fire happens here, the sprinkler head will pop and it will cover the area with water. In case of مثلا libraries or valuable materials, we don't use water. We use powders or gases so that they do not destroy the valuable materials. So we have these layers before we go here. We have these layers of fire protection. We have the layer of HVAC, exhaust fans and inlets and supply. And here we have the lighting design. Here we have, this is the tiling or the floor. And this is the reflected ceiling.
Doctor, I didn't understand this layer, reflected ceiling.
Can you say again?
I didn't understand this layer. What does it show?
Here, this reflected ceiling?
Yes.
It shows the types of materials used in the reflected ceiling. So this part has one material, and this part has a different material of tiling of suspended ceiling, and these are lighting and air conditioning. So and here you find the fire protection. So you will design your own suspended ceiling or reflected ceiling. That is a suspended ceiling that covers all these systems. And on this reflected ceiling plan, you will indicate the lighting, the HVAC, the firefighting. If you have sound system. That's why the design of the ceiling is extremely important, because it has more elements than the plan itself. Is that clear?
Yeah. Yes.
That is why I want you to select a small part of your design. We are not going to do the whole plan, because it's meaningless to keep repeating the same thing. We want to show that you understand how the plan evolves from simple architectural drawing to structural drawings, to furniture, to reflected ceiling that shows all the technical systems, to tiling, because you need also to develop a plan for the tiles and understand how many tiles, how will you start the tiling from left to right, 45 degrees, and the lighting, how will you distribute the lighting on the plan, and the distribution of the HVAC and the firefighting. All these are layers that come into the design after we finish the architectural drawing. Last thing is the design of the facade. So we need to think about the detail of the facade for that particular part of the building. And we need to show a detail of one floor. One important thing to show is the floor to floor height. So we have the this is the roof, so it's showing the roof height. But if it's a typical floor, we will show floor to floor height, so that we understand how this is going. As you see here, there is a suspended ceiling that covers all the technical systems inside. This is the concrete slab and the flooring materials. We don't need to show all the layers. This will come later in more detailed drawings. But we show the concrete system and the thickness of the flooring. Is it 2, 4, 5, 6? What type of layers do you have to cover the concrete flooring? Any brickwork, and then the glass cladding of the building. So we need to show a section in one floor that we have here in the drawing. This is a larger section that shows the whole building and the details of the elevation. So part of the elevation is shown with the same dimension as the section. So we can relate the design of the screen and the glass to the structure. This is another wall section in another part of the building. It shows different features. Yani this part was covered with this screen shape here. This part is more glass and wall elevation. So this is another wall section. It shows the levels, floor to floor, and then the detail and the elevation. We need also to show partial elevation, yani one floor section and one floor elevation. Everything else will be a repetition. So we don't want to have repetition